Hi everybody. I have been asked quite a bit lately to start a blog or a website where people can have easier access in following my story and my journey other than Facebook. So I'm in the works of getting something worked up. When I do, I will let everybody know. I also have been asked about people wanting to know a little more about my background. So hopefully I don't bore everybody and ramble on too much. I have a tendency to do that. So I will do my best not to do that. um, well, let's see. I have battled my weight my whole life. Um, as a kid, that's very hard. Um, you know, I was picked on. It's teased. It's very hard getting left out of things and not being picked for activities. And it's kids can be cruel, and well, adults can be cruel too. But yeah, it's been hard. Like I said, I've battled it my whole life, and what I weigh now, I haven't been that size since I was in middle school. And so that goes to show you that I was heavy in middle school. Right now, I am down to 196 pounds. And so, yay me. I, gosh, I never thought I would get to this, get here. It feels really good. It's pretty awesome. Um, but yeah, I had a hard time. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I am very emotional. I'm way too sensitive. I take things personal, and even to this day, I'm trying really hard not to be like that, because what other people say about you or how they treat you, it's not you, it's them. And I know this. I do. But it's still hard, sometimes, it's really hard to be like, that person was a jerk because they're jerk face, not, you know well, it's not that they're a jerk face, they just are going through their own thing, and they don't necessarily mean to be a jerk face to you. But anyways, enough about jerk faces. um I've had enough of them in my life. So yeah, so it was hard growing up, and I would get lost in books. I loved reading things, Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys, and Anna Green Gables, and Swiss Family Robinson, and Treasure Island, and I loved getting lost in books. And so that's not all bad, getting picked on, because it made me read more. um, but yeah, so it was hard growing up, and I ended up getting involved in relationships that, um, at the time it was very, very hard. Things that I went through, but now I'm looking at it as, what, that was a bad 5 years, but it taught me something. And now, after everything I've gone through, I know who I am, and I know what I want in my life and my children's life. I know what kind of relationship I want to be in and the kind of person I want to be with. And I think, everything that's happened in my life has brought me to where I need to be now. And, it's not easy to think that. I mean, because I have to, I'm not just reconditioning my body, I'm reconditioning my mind also. And because I'm emotional, I still fall into that trap of, what did I do wrong? But I gotta constantly tell myself that it was not me, that you know, so don't blame yourself for things. I know it's easier said than done, but, always try to tell yourself, who knows what that person's going through, um, or how they're feeling inside and why they treated you that way. I stayed in relationships way too long. Um, I wanted to take care of my partner, and I thought I could be the person that nurtured them, that made them feel better about themselves. And that doesn't happen. You got to want it yourself, and you got to be ready for it. You can't go in and help someone. And, you can't change anybody. And you shouldn't want to change anybody. So don't get into a relationship thinking, oh, I can change that person. That's not how it happened for me. I ended up getting with some sweet talkers who made me, fall for them. And then I would always find out later that they had some kind of serious theft problem or alcohol problem or drug problem. And of course, me, I'm like, oh, I just will give them all my love and it'll make it better. And it doesn't. It doesn't make things better. So you need to know when to get out of a bad relationship. Don't follow my example. I stayed way too long. So, anyways, so I things that happened from my childhood, kind of carried on with me to adulthood. And I learned a lot, so that's good. But I'm a single mom, and I decided, I have to do what's best for us. And, it was a long road to get me to this point where I am now. And my last relationship, we had problems. We were very toxic for each other. And I fed off of his emotions and his energy. And he was miserable, so I was miserable. And the more miserable you are, the more you eat. And I'm not proud of what I let myself become. The shape that I was in and my weight, and it was awful. Towards the end, a lot of my friends, didn't see me. I was embarrassed, and I couldn't wear normal pants. I couldn't wear normal clothes. Most of my things were custom made or sewn by some friends that I had made. And I couldn't wear normal shoes. And in the end, I was hopping from pieces of furniture to get to the bathroom. And it's embarrassing and it's horrible that my kids had to watch their mother's health just deteriorate. They should have never have had to witness that. Um, it was bad. And, honestly, I don't even know exactly how much I weighed at that time because none of the scales would weigh me. So my mom had came out to visit me, and she went home crying, and she didn't want to leave me like that, and she was so worried. And I didn't tell anybody what was going on. I didn't want, for a long time, I mean, in the end, I did, but for a long time, I didn't want people to know that I was failing my marriage. Well, it wasn't so much me, but things weren't working, and I didn't want them to know that I was unhappy and that, I tried to hide it. I'd laugh, I always tried to act like I was really happy, and it got to the point where I had to ask for help, and so towards the end of my relationship, some things had happened that made me decide that I needed to get my kids out of there. And because that's how toxic we were for each other, and it just wasn't a good environment. And in my opinion, it was not a good environment. So I ended up calling home, and my family, my grandfather and my father, they came out and got a rental truck and helped me move back home to Colorado. And at that time, um, my father was diagnosed as diabetic. He was having health problems, and his levels were up in the 500s. And my mom was, she's awesome research person. She gets on and she reads all this stuff, and she found Joe Cross in his movie Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. And her and my father watched it, and my mom had asked me to watch it, and I wasn't ready at that time, and I was still so wrapped up in being miserable, even though I was so happy to be out of the environment I was in, and I knew I was home, and I knew my kids and I were safe, but I still was having a hard time emotionally. And so even though she's like, you really should watch this, I was like, oh, why would I want to watch that? Which is awful that gosh, I could kick myself. But it wasn't that long that I put off watching the movie. But her and my dad were all ready to do this juice fast. And I had tried everything before, all these diets. And I even was contemplating weight loss surgery. And I don't handle surgeries very well. Well, I didn't in the past with my weight. So it's hard to say like now. But when I had my son, I was in the hospital 10 days after from getting an infection, and I got real sick. So my mom was like, no, I don't think you should do a weight loss surgery. Let's try to do this natural. And so I was like, all right. So I ended up watching the movie, and I was really inspired by Phil and Joe, and I was ready. I decided I was gonna take the plunge and do this with my folks. And what did I have to lose, really? I mean, I was sick. I was miserable. I was walking on crutches. My left leg was so swollen and turning this reddish purple color, and it hurt to have a blanket to touch it. I was wearing guys' shoes. Um, it. I had nothing to lose anymore. I just needed to get over things in my head and just go for it. So um, that is what we did. We started a 42-day juice fast, and it was amazing. After it was only a few days, actually, I started feeling better. And the first few days was kind of hard. Well, it was hard because you're detoxing, so you're getting rid of all this crap that's in your body, or it's trying to come out. But after you start juicing for a while, your body craves it. And I learned things that drink more water if you feel hungry. And so, we started that, and was doing really good. And I can't imagine my life without juicing. I love it. And I'm always going to juice. It's always going to be incorporated into my life. And my parents did really good on the juice fast. When my dad went back into the doctor, they had taken him off of his medication, and they couldn't believe how much better my dad was, which was great. So along the journey, I'm juicing, and, once I'm off the fast, I'm doing 2 juices a day and eating a healthy dinner. Or sometimes I would have a healthy lunch and juice for dinner. And so that's what I've been doing since May of 2011. Once in a while, I would, well, it's like every so many months, I would do like another reboot or a juice fast. And I just wouldn't do them as long. So I'd do like a 7-day or a 10-day or something like that. Um, kind of just, I love it. I will tell everybody how much I love juicing. And for me, not having a juice is probably how it is for other people when they don't have their coffee, which I gave up, which is great. I used to drink so much coffee that I would drink a couple pots of coffee a day, and I wouldn't eat during the day and then do all my eating at night, which was really bad. So after it wasn't too long after I was juicing that I online found Fitlifetv, Drew Canole, and his juicing vegetables page, which they have great recipes and they have really good videos. And once you become a member of their crew, on Facebook they have a really good support group, great people in there for members. And I am really glad I found them too, because their videos have been really great and really motivational and very encouraging. And Drew may not know this, but his videos have really touched me and really have made me do a lot of thinking and really have changed a lot of the way I look at things. And, so I really suggest checking that out, checking out Fitlifetv and Juicing Vegetables on Facebook. I went from, after I started losing weight, I started exercising, and the best feeling in the world was when I lost enough weight that I could start riding bikes with my kids. And to go down a water slide. I had not been able to go down a water slide since, gosh, I was 19. It had to have been before that, because I was pretty heavy at 19. I was like 260 pounds. So it had to have been more like when I was 15. So, because like the max weight was like 200. So, yeah, it's pretty embarrassing. But, so along this journey, I learned a lot about foods and what's in our foods. And it's pretty scary. There's a movie out there called Hungry for Change, and I highly recommend people watch that. It really helps when you have that kind of information to explain to you what's in the foods. I won't buy any of my old comfort foods again. No, not anymore. Not after learning all the crap that's in our foods. It's terrifying. For me anyways. I take it really serious. And as a matter of fact, now my youngest son reads all the labels, which is it's super that he reads all the labels, and he takes his lunch to school, and so that's really awesome. But I think that's why I have not fallen off track. What is because I am learning what is in these frozen meals and these boxed meals, and how there's chemicals in them that when they're together they react like a drug and make you addicted to eating these foods, why you crave these foods. And that's scary, to think about. And it all makes sense, to be honest, in my opinion, because you go eat, Kraft macaroni and cheese for one, a sandwich and some chips, and that's a lot of food. In half hour to an hour, you're wanting to eat again. There's no nutrients in any of those foods. That's the problem. No nutrients. There's chemicals. Why are we being fed chemicals that should never be put in foods? Um, it's gross. And on this journey, I've learned about what they do to animals and the conditions that these animals are in the slaughterhouses and even the dairy farms. And oh my gosh, it's frightening and it's disgusting. And so for me, that's what's worked. That has helped. Because I get a lot of questions on how do you stay focused, how do you stay on track, how do you not cheat, and I think once you learn those things, you don't want to eat that stuff, really. And I probably sound like a broken record, but I really, really feel that way. Um, when you're juicing and when you're eating raw, like now when I'm not juice fasting, I do 2 juices and, I eat my healthy dinner. And I love kale salad, spinach salads. And I throw nuts in there and fruit. And oh my gosh, one night we went over to my brother and sister-in-law's house, and my mom had cooked a really awesome healthy dinner and made this huge kale salad. And I could not stop eating that. And so I told my niece, I'm like, Kira, tell your aunt, step away from the kale salad, put the kale salad down. Because oh my gosh, it was so good. And so now my body, I eat what it feels like it's craving, and I don't crave that stuff anymore. The potato chips and you know, let's see what I'm trying to think what kind of stuff I ate. I loved salt and vinegar chips. Um, I loved ravioli, the Chef Boyardee. I just I liked a lot of stuff that just was really bad. And now that I've not touched any of it, I don't crave it. Um, a few weeks ago, I got back from the gym and I wanted almonds and apples so bad. And that's what I was craving. So that's what I ate. And I think your body kind of tells you. But, and then I had other things that have helped motivate me along the way. I've had people that were so-called friends, gosh, they did some mean things, said some mean things, that made me, tell myself, you know what, I'm so much better than the way I'm being treated, and I deserve good friends, good people in my life. And I'm lucky that I have made some really awesome friends in my life. Sadly, they all live far away. I have some friends that live in Alabama that I miss terribly, and I have friends in California, and it's those are the ones that you want to keep in your life, the ones that love you unconditionally, the ones that always have nice positive things to say or encourage you. Don't chase after people who make you feel bad. I'd go to the gym when I first started this, and once I lost enough weight because when I was so heavy that it was hard to go walk from the car to the store. So I started off slow. I did things walking and water aerobics because water aerobics is easy on your joints. But once I started losing weight, I would go into the gym and I would bust my butt, and I was like, oh yeah, so and so, well, I'm kicking butt over here. You may not be able to see me, but it, for some reason in my head it made me feel better. So, but I guess anything that works. Photos, posting photos of yourself in your bathroom, on the fridge, on the counter, or on the cupboards, that helps. And take your measurements, because a lot of reasons I had quit in the past was I'd hit a plateau and I'm like, why, am I not losing weight? Gosh, this stinks. And then I'd give up. Well, you reach a plateau and you may not realize you're losing inches, maybe not weight, but your body's changing. So take your measurements, take your photos. That helps a lot. Um, Now, I am feeling more positive about the future, and I am ready to kick some butt. I'm ready to push myself as far as I can, and it's scary. Change is very scary, and I know. I mean, I still get scared and battle things and constantly tell my, self things. I'm always reading positive quotes and positive things to help me, because if I don't do that, then it's easy to get sucked back down. And so every day I read my little positive things and psych myself out, and I'll watch videos from Drew on his YouTube station, and it can be done. You know, I don't want anybody giving up, and I'm here. I'm here to help if I can in any way. I'm not a nutritionist. Um, I can share I can share my experiences, what's worked for me. Um, I want to be there for you, and I send me emails, please. Anything that I can do. I may not get you written back immediately. Give me a day or two, but you're not alone. And even if you don't have a good support system at home, you can find one and make one online. And I say that because I have found so many awesome people who have given me so much encouragement, love, and support. And, whether it be a Facebook page or a group, um, you're not alone. There's groups out there of people who are going through what you're going through and trying, and it helps when you have them. You can encourage each other and inspire each other. So you're not alone. Don't give up. And now I want to be a nutritionist, and I have looked into schools, and I'm going to try and apply for a grant or a scholarship. I was told that there's some things out there for single parents, so I'm going to try that. I would really, really, really love to teach kids. I was on a field trip with my son and was in shock how many kids did not know what we were eating. Um, how could, a kid not know what certain vegetables and fruits are? That's scary. So, I feel like I'm on this mission, and I want to educate myself to the max, push my brain and learn as much as I can. And I want to help others, and I really want to help kids. And, honestly, kids are our future. And if we start teaching them now when they're younger about nutrition and the importance of nutrition and what's in our foods, things I know it'll start a chain reaction and get better. As a matter of fact, I was reading an article about a little girl who's in Girl Scouts, and she wrote a letter to the corporate company, of Girl Scouts, and asked them to stop using GMO products and start making their cookies GMO free. That is awesome. Awesome, awesome. I mean, a lot of people don't know about genetically modified organisms and how our largest crops are genetically modified. Corn, soy, it's like, and wheat, really? What is going on here? There's countries all over the world that are banning GMO seeds from entering their country, who they're not using genetically modified seeds, okay? So why are we? Why is America? You know, and when you think about it, genetically modified, you know, largest crops, okay, corn, everything's made out of corn. Animal feed, our cereals, everything, you name it. And then there's chemicals made from those things that are put into other foods that you would never guess was in them, like ice cream. You know, they put this chemical in ice cream to hold it together, to make it thicker. And, you know, so it's no wonder we're so sick and, you know, miserable, and food addictions, and, you know, they're making money off of us, you know, and it's like we need to stand up and say no more, you know, no more genetically modified organisms, no more stuff in our foods. And you know, I try really, really hard not, you know, I try really hard to be careful with what I buy. And you know, sometimes one of my sons will complain about it. You know, he's a teenager and he wants to eat the junk that his friends are eating. But you know, I try to buy them things. You know, I don't like buying boxed processed foods. I really don't. But when I do, I read the labels. I make sure it's organic. You know, I try to make sure it's as natural as possible. And none of these natural flavors. Research that, natural flavors. Oh, it's funny, the things that companies will do to get you to buy their foods. But anyways, I'm rambling. I'm sorry. But I get so many thoughts in my head and trying to get them out there, and I'm making a very long video, which is awful. So I'm really sorry. But so that's kind of where I'm at now. Is you know, I've been on this journey. I've learned a lot of stuff. It's changed the way I'm doing my thinking, my shopping, and I'm gonna do what I can. You know, maybe I'll never, get a book out there. I'm doing my best, though. I'm writing all these things down to start, to put it all together for a book. But I am gonna do my best to spread, the word, and about how important nutrition is, and the nutrients, that are in, you know, our foods, and the nutrients that aren't in our foods. But I really am. I'd like to be there for you guys. And like I said, don't ever hesitate to email me. If there's questions, that you want to know, maybe what I could just start doing until my blog is up is making videos addressing certain questions. But I hope everybody had a really great weekend, and I hope you guys are having a great night and a really good week. And I will talk to you guys all soon. Bye.